Hey guys, so it's very near O-levels and I've been getting several repeated questions from both my own students as well as you guys from my Instagram story. So I'm going to choose those questions which come up the most frequently and which I think will benefit the most number of students by me answering them here. I'll split this video into two parts. The first part is about O-level general strategies in revising and those general questions about how to study. Then the second part of this video will be about the content related questions, small questions here and there, which I see many people asking as well. Let's go straight into part one for general O-level revision strategies. Question 1, is memorizing content more important or doing papers? Content is definitely important, but the fact that we're so near the actual exam means that we don't have time to thoroughly go through and memorize every single piece of content. What I would do if I were you is I would go through the content quite fast. I would scan through our free notes because it is much more concise than school notes or the textbook, and I would scan through the CAQs, the commonly asked questions for every topic, and make sure I'm just familiar with all of them. Now, if I'm not, I will just take a moment to read through and revise that, and that usually gets you up to speed on content very fast. Then I would immediately go to prioritizing practice papers, especially the TYS. We want to finish all 10 years of it. If you've already done that, you can go to prelim practice papers. And the reason we do this is because it actually kills two birds with one stone. It uncovers your knowledge gaps while you're doing it. Example, you get a question wrong and it's because you thought that the lower epidermis of leaves have no chloroplasts at all. But that's actually not true because the gut cells in that lower layer have chloroplasts. So when you get that question wrong and you go and figure out why you got it wrong, you uncover the content gap and you actually learn and revise your content at the same time. Question 2, how to deal with my brain malfunctioning due to exam stress? So I've actually experienced this very recently because I'm studying NUS now, right? And there was this day where it was a Thursday morning. I opened my NUS email to check like what's going on. And I noticed that, whoa, I have an exam that same afternoon on Thursday. And I didn't even know about it. I had to cram like 6 weeks of content and quickly skim through, study it for the exam in the afternoon. During the exam, because I skimmed through quite a lot of the content, there was this math related one, which I am very bad at. I felt that same panic feeling and my brain kind of malfunctioned. I can't continue, right? I realized why we have this issue is because really of a fear of us not going to succeed, a fear of us getting the question wrong. And that's what I experienced too. So once I decided that, okay, I'm going to let go of this fear of failure, I'm just going to give my most educated guess out of the options that I see, and I will go to the other questions because I know I can get marks in other questions. It's about accepting defeat for some questions, and once we let go of that fear of getting it wrong, then it really lets go of this panic feeling and your brain will go back to functioning normally. The other advice I would give you is to have confidence in your skills, because no matter how difficult the questions, how weird they are, but the types of questions and the skills you use are always the same. Example, graph questions, how to draw a graph, data response questions, CAQs, and so on. So even though the questions can be weird or hard, the skills will never change and they can't take that away from you, so you can have confidence in that. Question 3, I'm behind on doing the TYS and I may not finish all 10 years before the bio paper 2. Okay, so although this is not ideal because we want to finish all the TYS, I have good news for you if this is your situation. Quality is way more important than quantity in revising for bio. I experienced this myself because in A-levels, before the A-level bio paper, I was also doing TYS. And this is quite embarrassing, but I actually didn't do all 10 years. I only did like around 4 papers for paper 2. It's not a good idea, but here's how I still got an A. Because every paper that I did my corrections properly. I figured out exactly why I got something wrong. So the first 2 to 3 papers that I did was quite bad. I was missing out so many keywords because just like you know, we always forget stuff. And when we do a full paper of our entire syllabus, we are bound to forget some keywords. But by the 3rd to 4th paper, it became so repetitive already because I was starting to realize, oh, this is the same as that question I did earlier in the other paper. And even though I didn't make CAQs for the A-levels, but it was already compiling in my head that, oh, these are the same question types. By the 3rd or 4th paper, I was getting almost all the keywords for the questions already. And so that's how I was still able to do well. And that just proves that for bio, quality is way more important than quantity. I would prioritize doing each paper really well, finding out all my mistakes compared to just rushing through all the TYS for the sake of checking that box. Question 4, I'm most productive at night, so should I not study during the morning? Okay, I got this from so many people and I went through it before myself. When you sleep late at weird hours or you don't sleep enough, which is true for most of you sleep deprived students, then here's what happens. The first half of the day, you are a zombie. You are not functioning optimally. Your brain is not clear and honestly, you're quite unhappy most of the first half of the day. Only in the second half do you start becoming more back to normal, and so that's why you think that, oh, you're productive at night because that's part of the second half of the day. But this is actually not normal for humans. When it is bright outside, that's usually because of the sun, right? Before artificial light, and that indicates to our bodies to be awake because it's time to move around and time to do work and time to live. But when it's dark, then it signals to our brains that, hey, now it's time to get sleepy. this is time to rest and sleep. So we're actually not made to be productive at night. We're made to feel sleepy at night. But because of all the artificial light, that's why we don't feel that sleepy at night. So this is not normal. You can be very productive in the morning and early afternoon. What you really need to do is just fix your sleep. Question 5. How to check whether I'm ready to take the O-levels? So there's no such thing as fully ready for any exam, right? Because there's always more rounds of revision that you can keep doing. But I would see whether I'm getting 60 and above out of 80 marks for the bio paper 2 and 35 out of 40 or higher for the bio paper 1. So I know that these are quite high standards, but try and hit them. If you can hit them consistently for a few papers, then you're pretty much ready. Next, I'll also test myself on all the definitions, because this is something that people usually leave to near the end, then they really solidify, and they tend to miss out on this. I will also test myself on the CAQs, making sure that I'm familiar with all of the possible CAQs. Go check our notes for that, and that I am really hitting all the keywords. So you don't have to even do it out, you can just recite it, you can just say and see whether you are hitting all those keywords. And that's how I would be sure that I'm very ready for O-levels. Hey guys, so this is part 2 where I'm answering a lot of small content questions from Instagram. Someone asked about what is the difference between hormonal and nervous coordination. So I'm guessing like you saw a question, maybe it was in TOS or something, and that's why you're asking me, right? I have a very nice table summarized here for you. So if you go to our notes and you scroll down to here in number 12, topic 12, coordination response, you see here that this is number 7, okay, nervous system versus endocrine system. And let me check if I have one CAQ about that. Let's see. Yes, I do. Okay, so here's the differences between endocrine, which is hormonal, and nervous control. So if you don't have our notes yet, let me get my editor to put it on the screen right now, which is tinyurl.com/tbt notes. And you can get this for free. Okay, next, is there access denied in bio? Yes, there is. So if you put something that's factually wrong as part of your explanation, you can get penalized. How do we answer those difference between DNA, gene, and chromosomes questions? Good news, I also have that here. So if we go to, I believe it's molecular genetics CAQs, here. Okay, so these are 2 questions which I've seen, which kind of covers like all the combinations they can throw at you already. So these kind of questions, it's actually quite simple because you're just defining what each thing is. Yeah, so refer to these CAQs because it should help you answer exactly. I think everyone is joking when they say that for some subjects, the A1 will be 90+%. Yes, I believe they are joking, and you can't know that for sure. I mean, it is possible that after the moderation, that yes, you know, that happens, but I'm pretty sure that it won't be that extreme. And even if it is, right, that means that the paper is really easy. So if you are good, then you would naturally get very high marks. So don't worry so much about moderation of bell curve and stuff. Just focus on you. Focus on how can you maximize your score in the exam. Because if you are near the end of the range of student scores, you always get the A1, right? No matter what happens. Okay, there are 3 last questions here which I'm not actually going to explain on this video because I've actually made videos perfect for these questions. So I'm going to refer you to them, and here we go. Okay, so I've got a question here, help with the pressure in the heart chambers. So for that, I'm actually going to share with you this one of my lesson clips, which is here, cardiac cycle, events, and the graph, which is exactly what you're asking about, the pressure, right, in the different parts of the heart. So I'm going to share this link, let me just copy this link here, and then I will get my editor to put this link either within this video or it will be in the description. So you can watch this. It is a very detailed video explaining this because I know a lot of people ask it. And these last 2 questions are related to cell division. So one of the questions was just cell division. Okay, I get it. A lot of people just put this because basically the whole topic is what they need help with. And then there's another one which is, where are chromatids and chromosomes in meiosis? So like, what's the difference between chromatids and chromosomes, you know, and how does the number change and all that? So I understand these are complex and they need detailed explanations, and so a good service to those questions, I will direct you to these videos. So this entire lesson clip folder for cell division is free to the public. Okay, I've made it free to everyone, anyone can watch it. And so the question about chromatids, right? I think I made one, let me check. Yeah, so that would be this video, the chromosome terms explained video. Will explain chromosome, chromatids, centromere, and all that. So this will be the video you're looking for the person who asked about chromatids versus chromosomes. And for those who just are terrible at cell division, watch all the videos here because it will give you a quick crash course. So same thing, I'm going to include this link in this YouTube video. So my editor will put the link up here, you can click it, or it will be in the description. Okay, and with that, I wish you guys all the best for O-levels. Study hard and your hard work will pay off.